Let's start off now with today's main story in the land. So you see, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili will run at some point before she pulled out on the platform of ACPN. Banky W, a popular musician, also is the party in which he ran has been delisted. Also, you know, Feladro Toye, a popular presidential candidate in the 2019 election, the party in which he ran also has now become history because a major shaking has occurred in Nigeria's political landscape as the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has announced the deregistration of 74 political parties. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made the announcement at a press conference earlier today explaining that the commission took the decision after reviewing the performance of the political parties following the 2019 general election. As it stands now, there are only 18 political parties in Nigeria, one of which is currently in court challenging is the registration, while another was registered after the election in compliance with a court order. Meanwhile, INEC has also fixed the 19th of September and October 10th for the governorship elections in Edo and Ondo State. Let's get talking on our major conversation, which is the deregistration. Why did INEC deregister all these parties? And what is the way forward? Let me get to our Abuja studio where we'll be having this conversation back and forth for this evening. Mr. Festus Okoye is a national commissioner for INEC and in charge of publicity and voter awareness. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, for coming on tonight. So we've seen this kind of scenario playing out. After every major election, INEC gets to deregister. A year or two before an election, INEC populates the party register again. So a lot of people are asking, so you deregister 74, tomorrow we might see you registering another 150. What difference does it make anyways?
Well, you know, the commission is a public trust. The commission is a public institution. The commission came into existence based on the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. The conditions for the registration of political parties are embedded within the confines and the ambit of the Constitution. So any political party that meets the constitutional threshold and requirement for registration, the Commission is under a constitutional obligation to register such a political party. Furthermore, the issue of the registration of political parties is also embedded within Section 225 sub A of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and any political party that does not meet the conditions stipulated in the said provision will also be deregistered. So we have complete fidelity to the Constitution, and whatever we do and the actions we take are completely covered by the provisions of the Constitution.
So, I mean, give us a sense of what it then means in the case of fresh political party and also the NCP. They've gone to court, up to Supreme Court, challenging the powers of INEC to deregister political parties. Does INEC have that power? Because they've said, look, you cannot deregister us. And they won that case for Fresh Party and NCP. At some point, they've won that case.
Well, the political parties you mentioned went to court on the basis of the provisions of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. Their contention was that they were registered under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and the conditions for the registration of political parties then was embedded by the National Assembly in the Electoral Act. So they canvassed that the provisions of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended is inferior to the provisions of the Constitution. That was the basis for which the various courts gave them judgment. Now, having gone through that particular road, the National Assembly felt that they needed to actualize the issue of the registration and decided to embed it within the constitutional framework. That was why the Constitution was amended and the provision of Section 225A of the Constitution came into force, and same was assented to by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the 31st day of May 2018. So the issue of the registration now is a constitutional provision, and as a public institution, we have a responsibility to give effect to the provisions of the Constitution. So the cases instituted by the political parties you mentioned has elapsed. It has gone. It's of no effect whatsoever because the law under which they went to court is no longer effective. Despite the fact that those provisions are still in the Electoral Act, but the constitutional jurisprudence is that the moment the Constitution has made a provision, any other law is inferior to the Constitution, and any other law is just redundant and of no effect.
We take a breather, but when we come back, Mr. Okoye, you will tell us why you deregister, because you have specific reasons why you removed all these 74 political parties, but we will also hear from one of the political parties that have been removed and their grievances. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation. INEC says no more to 74 political parties. So 18 political parties active is what we have in Nigeria. But some of these political parties are already speaking. We have one of them tonight to get a reaction of what they make of this. Mr. Akinloye Oyeniyi joins us tonight on the program. Mr. Oyeniyi, thank you so much. How does this come to you? You are partyless as far as INEC, as far as a political party membership is concerned, isn't it?
We have been registered. We have not been, you know, during the process of registration, we went to INEC, we filed processes with INEC, and a lot of processes were followed before we were registered. I believe those processes should also be followed before we could be registered. I listened to the INEC chairman where he was citing the section 225A of the 9th amendment of the 1999 Constitution as amended. But even following that particular section of the Constitution he cited, you will see those provisions were from the presidential election to the local government election. That's from the office of the president to office of the councillor. How many states have conducted the local government election? Today, let me tell you, today my party held our local government primaries in Ondo State. We were just getting the result. Then we are having this from INEC, although we have not been officially communicated to. So it's still a hearsay, and I've seen it again now from the INEC chairman. But you know, the functions of a political party is not only to win election. You understand me now? It's not only to grab power. We are there also to do voter education, also to be in the opposition. It's not about the party who is in power. It's not only the ruling party. But whether you are in power or you are not, you are out of power. We have the ruling party. We have the opposition parties. It's just to make the country to be thick, to make the country to be controlled, to be resourceful, to make the country to be good for everybody. INEC cannot just wake up from anywhere. Yes.
Are you saying INEC does not have the power to deregister you? Is that what you're saying? That
no, not that INEC does not have the power. INEC have the power to register. INEC have the power, but that power should be exercised constitutionally. This power is being exercised unconstitutionally. Do you know, we are in court. We are in court. INEC, it's not as if they are not serving INEC, but INEC has refused to even come to court. Judgment is to be delivered on the 17th. INEC is coming up this evening that they are registered to. I listened to Prof when he said, now we now have 18 political parties. It does not have that power to concoct or to give to Nigeria a numbers of political parties. That is not constitutional. Constitutionally, from the presidential election to the governorship, House of National Assembly, and House of Assembly, then chairmanship and councillorship. You cannot. The political party cannot be registered while we have.
Apologies. Let me quickly ask you this. There are three major reasons why INEC. One of the reasons why INEC deregistered the 74 political parties. Can you tell Nigerians that you have any seat in any state assembly or in any federal seat in Nigeria? Did you meet any of those criteria?
No, the criteria is, the process is still on. The process is on. That's what I'm trying to say. The criteria are, you have to win at least a local government presidential election. You have to win. Then from there, it's from, you know, elective positions in Nigeria is from the presidency to the councillorship, constitutionally. And that section 225A said, you understand me now, verbatim, that you have to win a particular section of the constituency, and you know, constituency for the presidency is the entire nation. Constituency for the governorship is the entire state. Constituency for the local government election is the entire local government, and constituency for the councillorship is for the ward.
All right. Now, let's get Mr. Okoye to respond to this. Mr. Okoye, you heard one of the parties involved say, look, what you have done is unfair to them. What will be your reaction?
It's unconstitutional.
Well, the commission does not act on the basis of sentiment. The commission does not act on the basis of knowledge of individuals in some of the political parties. The commission acts on the basis of constitutional stipulations and constitutional provisions. We were deliberate, we were thorough, and we were dispassionate in applying the provisions of the Constitution to the issue of deregistration. Now, there are two strands to the deregistration of political parties. The first strand is that every political party must meet the conditions and threshold stipulated in Section 222 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria before it can be registered. Conversely, under Section 225A of the Constitution, any political party that falls off the window or the radar of the conditions for its registration will be deregistered. The second one that he's talking about relates to where he's referring to as local government elections. Now, there are two functions which the Independent National Electoral Commission performs, which the state's independent electoral commissions do not perform. One is the registration of political parties. Second is the registration of voters. We hand over the voters register to the state's independent electoral commissions when they want to conduct local government elections. And we also hand over to them the list of duly registered political parties when they want to conduct local government elections. Therefore, the reference to local governments and councillorship in Section 225A of the Constitution relates to the local government elections that the Independent National Electoral Commission is constitutionally obligated to conduct. And that is the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. And that was the one we used in making assessment relating to the councillorship and chairmanship of local governments, which he talked about. So as far as we are concerned, the commission went the whole hog. In fact, in December, the commission conducted what we call monitoring and compliance assessment of all the registered political parties in order for us to be sure that we do not deregister a political party that is functional and a political party that is in compliance with the provisions of Section 222 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So we are in good standing. We have applied the provisions of the Constitution, and we don't need the concurrence or the sanction or permission of the political parties to give effect to the provisions of the Constitution, because as a public institution, we have the constitutional right to give effect to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We will close the program now, and Mr. Oyeni, you have 30 seconds. It does look like a technical knockout for your party, isn't it? Based on what Mr. Okoye said. What is your next step in 30 seconds?
In the face of the Constitution, my party is still on. I'm telling you, we cannot use, we have, including, he's talking about area councils. He's talking about area councils are not local government. He's talking about area councils. INEC cannot use 6 area councils to adjudge for the remaining 768 local government. We have 768 local government, 6 area councils, making it 774. What is the percentage of 6? Is 774. To now use the yardstick of 6, to now the rest of party, we are going to local government election. You heard everybody heard the Supreme Court judgment on the autonomy of local government, and some of these state governors are trying to comport themselves, organizing local government elections, and this is where we are. What is the problem?
It does look like Mr. Oyeni,
that something is behind this, and we'll get to the root of the matter.
It does look like INEC has written his decision in pen. You have to go to court to get a cleaner from the court to erase it. It's going to be a tough one, but we'll see how that plays out.
We are in court. We are in court for that. We are in court for that. They have not been coming. INEC has not been coming. It's not as if they have not been.
Many thanks, Mr. Oyeni, for coming. And also, Mr. Festus Okoye, thank you so much for coming tonight. But that's our show for tonight. Everyone, many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.